Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome back. We have been moving and grooving in the apartment these past couple days, trying to restore order here. After a month-long depressive episode, things got pretty hectic in the apartment. But I've been doing it, how I said in my other video, how to eat an elephant. You do it piece by piece. That's how we tackled the apartment piece by piece. I got the living room finally done. My bedroom is absolutely finally done, which I'm so thankful for because that was the worst one of them all. The kitchen is good. The bathroom is the only thing I have left to knock out, and the bathroom isn't bad. It needs to be picked up and scrubbed down a little bit, but it just feels better having a cleaner space even though everything in my life isn't fixed right now. I think having a non-depressive environment made things a little better for me, cleared some headspace for me a little bit, got things organized. I started a new daily routine. If you saw it on Snapchat, just starting my mornings off better, differently, doing some stretching, doing my at-home workouts, going for walks outside. All of that I think helps keep me stable too, but also I just think in general, as much as I'm the person that hates getting up and doing the same thing every day, some sort of structure and routine is helpful for me, especially. So I think kind of having that structure throughout my mornings and trying to hold myself accountable to do those things has also helped. And as I mentioned on Snapchat, I just need strength for my mind and body. Like just just a little bit of help, and I think those things are starting to bring that back for me. I'm excited for this weekend. My parents are coming down and we have some exciting things planned. We will be going kayaking. I'm excited to go kayaking. I personally haven't been kayaking in a long time, but it's probably been at least 10-ish years since I've gone kayaking with my parents. So I'm intrigued to see how that's going to go. I am taking them to the Finley Market that I finally visited in downtown Cincinnati, which is the coolest farmers market on steroids that I have seen. I loved it. That was really really cool to go there. So I'm taking them there as well. But just another fun, relaxing weekend. Having some good meals with them. I'm very excited for. We're gonna try out a couple new restaurants, but yeah, I'm looking forward to them coming down. As for an update on the rest of my life, still basically the same. Just was able to pay rent. No new job updates. I've applied to about 50 more now since last video, but no new job updates. Still just kind of working dollar by dollar, day by day, but something's going to break through. Something will happen, and we'll be ready for it. In today's episode, one thing my therapist always would remind me of is that sometimes kind of have to zoom out and see the big picture of where you are. And she likes to always remind me, look how far I came from when I was 18, 19, 20 to where I am now. And where I am now, sometimes you can't really help things that are financially horrible right now, but she's talking more in terms of lifestyle, mindset, goal setting, how different my mind operates at 27 years old versus how versus how little it chose to operate when I was 18, 19, 20. And I saw this really interesting thread the other day that was someone basically doing kind of interview style questions where your 21-year-old self answers versus how your answers compare to today. And I thought that would be something good for me to do on this podcast because, like my therapist suggests, that kind of zoom out moment. Like, look from where you came from to what you're able to do now. We get kind of really trapped in the day by day mentality without kind of looking at things with an overall perspective. So today I will be interviewing my 21-year-old self and how my answers compare to me now. And I'm going to answer honestly how I would at about the 19 to 20-year old era that I was in. And so it's going to kind of go through these questions. I picked out a few of them. My favorite one I'm keeping till the end, but these were kind of some of the interesting ones that were pulled. So the first one is back then versus now. How late would you stay out without consequences? I'll tell you right now, my 21 year old self didn't give a damn about consequences whatsoever. I stayed out as late as the party was going. If I had to work at 7:30 a.m. at the daycare, I just had to make sure I was back to my apartment in time to change a set of clothes, drink some water, do what I needed to do, and I would go to work. I would stay up extremely every night. I was staying up extremely, extremely, extremely late with no regard to what was going to happen in the morning. I think a lot of us at that age handle hangovers like differently than we do now. Like I know for damn sure my 27-year-old body can't handle even a tenth of the hangovers that I went through in college, but that 21-year-old body could power through a lot. So I was always out. Tuesday night, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night. I would stay out as late as I wanted at the bar, at wherever we were headed after the bar. Didn't matter. I did not care what time I got home. Now, if we're talking in terms of like a work night, like if I have to get up and go to work, you won't catch me out past 11 unless it's something like I don't know, like event related. Like I know one of the times for my work we went and saw one of the professional soccer teams play, and maybe I got back at like 11:15, but I didn't have anything to drink at the game. It just was when the game ended and when I got back. You really won't catch me out past 11. Even 10 even 10 o'clock can be kind of pushing it. But now that's not saying that's the time I fall asleep. I might be up on my phone scrolling for 2 hours. But in terms of being in my bed, yeah, 11 o'clock is usually cap. On the weekends, staying out late, yeah, but I'm not looking for the after party like anymore. Like I at 27, who am I going to go up to at the bar and be like, "Where are we going after?" They're going to be like, "You need to fucking go home." So, yeah, I might stay out 1, 2 in the morning, come back, and then I'm usually just passing out asleep. It's never continuing on as it would like if I was 20 years old getting back from the bar at 2 a.m. No one in that bitch in that apartment was going to sleep before 5 a.m. I'll tell you that. So that's kind of like the that's I guess a night out comparison of like the times that I would be back. I could not, where I'm at right now, stay out as late or do what I was doing staying out that late being being 21 years old. At 21 years old at this time, what was your most reckless purchase versus today? So I'm going to tell you a story. Um Easily I've never spent my money on appropriate things. I'll tell you that right now. But easily one of my most irresponsible purchases, hence why I owe quite a bit to Sally Mae when I would take out way over the loan amount that I needed. And it was called an overage check. Once Sally Mae paid the school, said, "Hey, her school's paid for. Whatever extra in the loan amount I took out just got deposited into my bank account." And I remembered I wanted a fish. I wanted some sort of like cool aquatic animal situation. So a friend and I went to PetSmart, and I was really thinking about like I just want like a fish tank, maybe to like something else to like take care of. Like how fun would that be? I ended up getting a chameleon. In a whole ass terrarium, and all the things that went in it were involved. You guys, I'm like in PetSmart, like Googling what I would need. I had no idea. I literally just saw this chameleon and I was like, hell fucking yeah. Also, just recently watched Tangled probably for the 10th time before this happened. And I think that's what also I was like, I want a friend like Pascal in Tangled. So I did name him Pascal, and I loved Pascal. But let me tell you, reptiles are a whole different story to take care of than any other animal. Oh my God. I realized within the first probably 72 hours that this was not for me. You have to change on different light bulbs at the time of day. You have to mist everything on the inside. I had to feed him live crickets. There's certain vitamins that go in his water at this time, but then certain vitamins that go in at this time. You constantly have to check the humidity in the terrarium. He had to have certain live plants, certain moss plants, certain rocks, certain temperature of the whole terrarium, and like the light, vitamin, and other things that's like a strict schedule. Like poor Elliot at that time got like fed when I got home. If that was at 5 a.m., that's when his breakfast was. If I didn't get up till noon, that's when his that's when his breakfast was. Like he was fed every day. It just was depending on the time. Whereas reptiles, you can't like mess around with that shit. And I was starting to get really stressed out because Pascal would like change color, but like a darker color. And I started to like just be really upset because I Googled it and that showed that he was stressed and like unhappy in his environment. And I knew that was gonna happen because I had no idea. In total, you guys, between the chameleon, the terrarium, the food, the vitamins, every piece living and fake that went inside the terrarium, total racked up to about $800 to $900. And I was like, yeah, Pascal, you gotta go, dude. I gotta get you to like somewhere that can take care of you. I ended up selling him to someone who had reptiles at the time, had like previous knowledge of taking care of them. So I felt really comfortable passing this along. I had to drive to East Lansing to sell him. Literally have a chameleon in a terrarium in my back seat, hauling it an hour and a half from Kalamazoo to get to East Lansing. And I I sold it for like $100, like everything together. I lost so much money in that, and I had him Pascal for a total of 9 days. A total of 9 days, and I was like, I am a horrible person for doing this. I felt so bad for buying him, so bad for putting him through that. And I just hope that Pascal got to live a really good couple years. I don't know how long chameleons live. That's another issue I didn't look into. I don't know if they live 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, but I hope that he is still alive and doing well and doing great. And I hope, Pascal, if you're listening, I hope you forgive me. I'm sorry for stressing you out and turning you brown. I didn't mean to. I hope you're healthy, and just know that I will never buy a reptile ever again. I'm sticking with the cats, and that'll do. I don't even want a fish. I don't want anything other than a cat. My reckless purchase now, I think, not in terms of a purchase, but in terms of spending money at this day in my life, was definitely the gambling scandal. The gambling scandal 100% was the most reckless use of money that I went through at this current this current state that I'm in. So this next one is, what was your plan if you ever got famous? Um I think at 2021, if I was famous, that fame would look a whole lot different than it would if something were to happen now. It would be a completely different person. If I was 20, 21 years old getting famous, I can guarantee you it was fame for the wrong reasons. It was fame from inappropriate videos, from horrible things that I was out doing that probably just started to trend. on whatever app because they were probably ridiculously stupid videos that probably included illegal activities. And getting any sort of fame from that probably would have been horrific for me because my mindset back then would have been like, oh, let's keep doing this. I'm getting attention. I'm getting noticed. Let's keep posting and doing these horrible videos, these horrible things to see where it goes. Obviously, that's completely different than the messages I'm trying to spread now. Basically, the exact opposite ends of the spectrum of what would happen if I rose to some sort of fame through what I'm doing now. That's a completely different person than what you would have seen had something happened in college that kind of drove there. This one is, what risks were you afraid to take at 21 versus the risks you are afraid to take now? And honestly, that's kind of the opposite. Again, at that age, I was not afraid to take a risk. I was not afraid to do anything. Anything. I think my anxiety was in the back seat at that time and was like, hey, we absolutely have no concerns of consequences towards anything we do. Let's fucking run it. I would, nothing was a risk. I didn't care. At this stage of my life, at 27 years old, I'm probably afraid to do anything. But at this point, yeah, I like to go out and have fun and be spontaneous and do things within my means. But in terms of actual taking risks, no, terrified. Anxiety is no longer in the back seat. Anxiety is driving my life, and I will I will not be taking any major risks for that. This one is, what is something you thought you'd have figured out by then versus now? I think at 21 years old, um looking back when I was like 7, 8, what I thought a 21-year-old was completely different than how I was at 21, but really how anyone was. I think when you're younger, you think that these older ages, 21, 22, 23, are these perfect human adults. And when you are 20, 21, 22, 23, you realize that's completely not accurate at all. And I kind of feel the same right now. Like, I at 21, I was like, damn, I thought I'd have this figured out. I thought I'd have this figured out. But I feel the same at 27. I thought I'd have this figured out. I thought I'd have this figured out. And I feel like the older I get, the more I realize that, like, I don't think there's a set determined age that you are supposed to. The world keeps shifting, things keep changing, then things keep turning around, and I think we're all just adapting as we go. And the more I learn about, like, my parents, like, there's things that they don't have figured out and they're in their 50s. So I'm pretty content with knowing that life is always just going to be like a giant guessing game of getting used to what's going on, kind of day by day. What was your go-to hangover cure? At 21, probably some unmentionables, but also hella ibuprofen has always been, still to this day. That's a similarity between the two. Ibuprofen, huge. Back then when my hangovers were a little bit more intense, any sort of like McDonald's food, McDonald's Sprite, McDonald's food. You'd have to be kind of careful because you can't eat too much because then you'd make the hangover worse because then you'd start getting sick everywhere. But now, I don't know. It's honestly been a bit since I've had like woken up with an extreme hangover. The only one worth mentioning is the one that Hannah and I talked about New Year's, but that was literally not the amount, but just mixing too many different alcohols. And really the only thing that helped me was straight ass fucking liquids that next morning when I ordered my Sonic DoorDash, and all it was 4 different drinks, 4 different large drinks, like one slushy, one like high C, one pop, one large water. Like, that's all I wanted was the liquids and my ibuprofen. Um, I think maybe not the cures, it's just the hangovers themselves um, looked a little different. What were you doing at 2 a.m. then versus now? Oh, God. At 2 a.m., 19, 20 years old, a bitch was scheming. I was scheming. I was with my crew and I was out doing everything I shouldn't have been doing. At 2 a.m., we probably still were not at the bars. We probably migrated to the streets. We migrated to someone's apartment. I was probably at an apartment, standing on an elevated surface, drinking out of a bottle, and absolutely screaming either at a friend, at myself, screaming song lyrics. I was somewhere doing something degenerate. I also could have been in like a pool. I could have been in a hot tub. I could have been heading somewhere. I could have I could have been traveling. You do not know, no idea what was going on at 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, what it looks like for me now, currently, 2 in the morning looks like TikTok live. You guys, I am down bad with TikTok live. I think it's because when my whole no Wi-Fi for weeks thing, the only thing I really had to entertain myself was TikTok, and it does get kind of old just like scrolling through video after video after video after video. And I was never a fan of the TikTok live to begin with, and I think that's because I kept getting like weird ones pushed on me. And I was like, this shit is so dumb. These people just sit here and like beg for gifts. They have a weird game playing and they're just begging for people to send them money. Like, what is the point? But then I ended up stumbling across a few different content creators that would stream, and I just I literally I literally am so obsessed with them. I'm in their stream every single night. Now, mind you, my TikTok is Sorry Mom Podcast. But because I'm in these streams so much, these people have asked like what my actual name is, so that when I enter the stream, they're literally like, "Hey Sarah, like how's it going?" Like I'm in there. I'm in that shit for no fucking reason. But I will say it is entertaining to be so one of the streamers um has maybe like on average 30 people in there. She streams really late. It is entertaining to like get to know her and the people in the chat. Like I know the people in the chat now. Like I know what you talk about, like, "Oh, how's your day going?" You answer. It's just like a chill little environment where everyone's talking. She's kind of like going over different things and talking with us, and you're just like asking her questions. But it's literally like when I enter that chat, "Hey Sarah, how's your day? How's it going?" And you're immediately typing away, you're talking to other, like that's entertaining to me now. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's entertaining to me now. Let me tell you something else about TikTok Live. One of the other ones I'm obsessed with is this girl in Australia. She sings. If you are on TikTok, you probably have scrolled past her live on your For You page at some point or another. This girl has over 1 million followers. She's always singing, has a beautiful voice, and when she goes live in Australia, I believe it's like 4, 5, 6 p.m. But for me, it's 2, 3, 4 a.m. So I am usually like laying down. Hers is like the last live I'll go to. And I like to just like lay down and like listening to her sing. Like she's such a good singer. But in her lives, she has like 2 to 3,000 people in her lives at any given time. And she does like little ones earlier in the day for her, but then again for me it's probably like 7 p.m. where she'll do like ask questions or getting ready with her to like go out and sing, and obviously her singing live streams are her biggest ones. But I'll hop in those and there's probably around 150 people in there, but again, she's one that has recognized my Sorry Mom podcast name multiple times and asked me what my name is. And so now, whether it's like a singing stream, getting ready stream, like she'll see me pop in. And let me tell you guys, as someone who like genuinely likes to make people laugh. Like, it makes me feel good to make someone else feel good, to make someone else smile, to make someone else laugh. When I put just kind of something in my own sarcastic tone in her live, and I don't message a lot in her lives because it's like me just watching her perform, really. But every once in a while, in between songs, she'll like say something or do something or show the camera something, and I'll make like a comment. And you guys, I'm being so honest right now. This is how deep I am. I know when to time my comments to when the live streamer is going to look. I time out how many seconds it is until it like repopulates with all the new people commenting, especially in hers, because she gets a shit ton of comments with over 3,000 viewers. But I know when she's going to kind of like look at the camera, when those new comments are going to refresh and come in, and I can like literally time it out when to send mine. And it's happened multiple times throughout her streams. If I send an off comment and she looks and reads it, and she'll laugh and like say something back, and the ego serotonin boost I get, that out of all the craziness that is coming through at once of hundreds of people commenting, and I timed it just right for you to see it, laugh, and acknowledge on a live stream of over 3,000 people. I I think that's where my addiction comes from. Is I just like to get noticed in these streams. And I'm so fucking weird for that. I know, I get it. I am, but it's now like a sport for me. Like, I want these people to notice me. And you guys, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say that. But that's what 2 a.m. looks like for me now, is live stream TikTok and getting a serotonin energy boost when a live streamer knows my name is Sarah and talks to me and laughs at something that I put in the comments with all these viewers. And that is just and that's just where I'm at right now. But you know what? Every once in a while it's really fun to have a like a crazy fun night out, yes. But I think consistently being out and being a degenerate at 20 years old, I would much rather take my psychotic TikTok live safe in bed than the dangers I could have really been putting myself through at 20 years old. So I I will take that route for sure. What city did you dream of living in at 21 versus now? I think LA's always been a goal, but I realized um, when I was younger, LA was like where I thought I was going to live forever. I have yet to go out to California. I've been to the West Coast, but I haven't been to California. And it was always like a dream. Like, I am going to have a beautiful penthouse in downtown Los Angeles one day, and that's where I'm going to spend my time. Da 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 da. I think at some point in my life, I would like to live in LA, but like for a year or two. Like, I would like the LA experience, the LA vibes for a short amount of time. From what I've seen from people who've moved to LA and moved out of LA, or people who are currently in LA and telling kind of like the background story of what everyone sees as this glamorous, famous city, I think what I've learned about LA is doesn't fit what I would like personally. I don't think I would like the lifestyle. I've heard people are really rude. I heard people can be really fake. People are kind of just out for themselves. People say like you just like it's a hard time trusting people in LA. You always have cameras out. Cameras are around, out, in your face, like everywhere you go. That's just sort of like the thing. And again, for a year, I could probably tolerate it just to experience it, to say I got to live in LA because it is a destination place of mine on my bucket list to go to. But I think I'm an East Coast girl. I do not think I'm a Midwest girl. Michigan, I love you, Michigan. Needed to get out to explore, but Michigan will always have a special place in my heart. I'm not meant to stay in Kentucky. I'll tell you that right now. Kentucky's beautiful. I've had a fun time here, but this is not my forever spot. I think for me, it would definitely be the East Coast. I would love to live in Maine. I would love to live in Boston. I do want to visit New York City. I don't know, again, if New York City lifestyle would quite fit me. And you may think, well, what's the difference between Boston and New York? I don't have that answer. I don't know. It's just something about New York City itself. Again, would I love to live there for a year and experience it? Hell fucking yeah, I would. I would live in New York City longer than I would in Los Angeles. I can probably guarantee that. That New York City, between the two, I'd rather live in New York City, but I think East Coast for me is more the route I would take than staying in Los Angeles. And at the time of being 2021, I thought I would head out to Los Angeles by the time I was 22 and I'd be living there the rest of my life. And I think who I am as a person now, that would not be the case, and that would not suit me. All right, my last couple questions here. What do I wish I could tell the 21-year-old version of me? I wish I could tell the 21-year-old version of me a couple things. First would be put the bottle down. That would be first and foremost. I would say, hey, you little bitch, your parents are racking up quite the hospital bills. Why don't we knock it off and put that down? I would tell my 21-year-old self to go get help. I think I waited way longer than I should have. I would sit myself down and say, hey, we got to get our shit together. But despite where I am at right now at 27 years old in this kind of hell situation I found myself in, I would just remind my younger self that you have to stay positive and you have to stay hopeful and that you have to keep going. I think I caught myself kind of a couple times in my after 21-year-old years, 22, 23, 24, a couple mental meltdowns of just literally being miserable, not being happy. And I think I would just want to remind myself to just keep pushing through, and you will be okay. You will eventually get the life that you want, but you can't keep just giving up. Like you just got to keep going, and you will be okay. I'd pat myself on the back and I would say you will be okay. At 21, girl, you've already been through a lot, and you're going to go through more, but you'll be okay. I would also look myself dead in the fucking eyes, and I would say, do not download FanDuel, BetMGM, or any other bullshit app. And I would make myself I would make myself swear on my own life that I wouldn't. And that is like the life lesson pep talk that I, honest to God, would give myself. What do I think 21-year-old me would say to me now? I think if 21-year-old me and me now sat down at a coffee shop together, I think 21-year-old me would have a lot of questions about what's going on, because I think 21-year-old me would be scared. I think they would be surprised and happy that we made it to 27, but I think they would have a lot of, what did we end up doing? What's our career? Where do we live? Who are the friends now? Who are we hanging out with? What ended up happening with this person in this situation? And maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago, I would like to have that conversation with my 21-year-old self, because I would not have the best answers for that girl right now. But kind of the same answer as the other question. I would just, hey, everything's good. We live in an apartment on our own. We're in a brand new state. You get to experience a lot of new things. A lot of what you've been through has powered through to who we are today. And because of what you've been through, I have now gotten to start a podcast about it. And I get to do something fun and entertaining with my days, sharing our stories of struggle that we went through. And my 21-year-old self would probably be hype about that, because I've always wanted to be on YouTube. I've always been scared to make videos. So my 21-year-old self would be like, hell yeah, we actually finally did it. We actually finally put ourselves up there. Even though you're using my trauma, we put ourselves out there. Then the last question for today is, what part of 21-year-old me do I miss? And what am I so glad I outgrew? I think one of the things I miss about being 21 is more of the carefree lifestyle, but not in terms of like the dangerous things I was doing. I think I was more carefree because I didn't have like a lot of responsibilities yet. I wasn't seeing a lot of consequences to my actions happen, and I think I just got to live my days more like it was like a fake happy though, right? Because I was using substances to cover up the fact that I wasn't happy. I was doing dangerous things. I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing, but that fake happy was still me happy. And I think that like carefree lifestyle is again not the dangerous stuff, but is something that I wish I still had today. I think as you get older, the pressures get heavier on your shoulders, and I don't really have that luxury anymore of when I was 21. So that's something I wish I could bring back. Something I'm so glad I outgrew probably would be those dangerous tasks. That anything horrible that I did that I don't do anymore is something I'm very appreciative that I outgrew. Um, this July is my fourth. No, this is 2025. This July is, yeah, that's right. My fourth year being sober from those things. So that's something to celebrate, something to be very happy and very thankful for. And we will be keeping up that sobriety until I die. So we're on a 4-year good streak and we're going to keep that going. It might be 5. I can't remember. It's either 4 or 5. I think it's 4 because 2020, 4 or 5 years, but very thankful for being sober that long and continuing on that journey. Thank you guys for joining me again on another episode. Always appreciate you guys. Always appreciate you listening, commenting, liking, whatever it may be. I hope you all have a super fun weekend. Pray for me and my parents kayaking because some of us will be fighting someone else. We always get into arguments when we do something like this because something's not going to go right and it's going to crack me up and it'll be funny. But pray that all 3 of us and all 3 of our kayaks make it back to where they need to go at the end of the trip. I hope you, wherever you are, I hope you have nice weather this weekend. I hope you get to do something fun. Stay safe while doing it. And I will see you guys same place, same time next week. I love you all.